I'd rather have premium elite talent over just trying to fill a need with someone who is not as good, because that's how you wind up getting fired, and that's how you wind up taking, well, all of the guys that the Browns have drafted for the last 20 years.
This is such a development thing. Look, they drafted Jed Wilson. He was fine. He never got any better. They drafted Greg Newsome. He did get a little bit better. He ultimately was in a spot.
Stop right there. That is not a hot take. That is not somebody trying to go viral. That is somebody who has watched this franchise long enough to know exactly how this story ends when they do it wrong. 25 years. That's what he said. 25 years of the Cleveland Browns drafting to fill a need instead of drafting elite talent, and wondering why the team never gets over the hump. 25 years of we needed a tackle, and we needed a corner, and we needed depth at this position, and what do they have to show for it? Now think about what that means heading into this draft. Because the Browns are sitting at number 6. They have picks. They have options. And right now, the conversation in every draft room, on every podcast, in every front office is the same. Do you take the best player available, or do you draft for need? And the Browns have a history of answering that question the wrong way. This is not normal. This draft is different. This moment is different. And I need you to understand why, before we talk about what is actually happening in Berea right now. Welcome to Browns Breakout. Like, subscribe, hit that bell. Let's get into it.
Great to see Quinshon Judkins back in Berea and looking healthy. Looking forward to year 2 of Q. Browns running back Quinshon Judkins. Q is back. So he's already back, ready to start cooking, ready to start breaking those big runs once again and being that monster in the backfield that Shedeur said.
3 words. And if you understand what Quinshon Judkins was doing before that injury last season, you know exactly why those 3 words matter. This man was on pace for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Running behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. With no receiving threat to keep defenses honest. With Jerry Jeudy dropping passes all over the field. With defenses loading the box because they had nothing else to worry about. And he was still producing. Still breaking runs. Still forcing defenders to miss. Still being the most dangerous thing the Browns offense had going for it week in and week out. Now think about what Quinshon Judkins looks like in 2026. With a full offseason. With a healthy body. With Shedeur Sanders under center, a quarterback who can actually threaten defenses through the air, who forces safeties to respect the pass, who opens up exactly the kind of running lanes that make a back like Quinshon Judkins a nightmare to stop. This changes things. This is not the same Browns backfield that opposing defenses were teeing off on last season. This is something different. And that's what the mainstream conversation keeps missing. They want to talk about Watson. They want to debate the 6th pick. They want to manufacture drama around the quarterback room. But the foundation of this offense, the thing that makes everything else work, is a healthy Quinshon Judkins running behind a real quarterback for the first time in his NFL career. That is the story. That is what should be getting attention. And it's not. Because it doesn't fit the narrative certain people need to push.
We're moving Christmas to January 11th. No.
You're right. Look, the Browns have a perception problem, and they know it. But why do they have it? Well, because the offense has crashed, because they made the worst trade in history,
right?
Because it's a hard sell on all fronts here. So how are they going to change that winning eventually? Drafting good players.
Yeah.
Nobody was throwing a parade over Carson Schwarzenegger last year.
They were not.
Right? Everybody looked at the Judkins pick and said, why not?
He said what he said. And honestly, he's right. And Browns fans know it in their bones. There is a temptation. There's always a temptation for rebuilding franchises to trade down. Accumulate picks. Build depth. Stack the roster. It sounds smart. It sounds disciplined. It sounds like good asset management. But this is where it gets interesting. Because the Browns have a perception problem. They admitted it themselves in that same conversation. And you don't fix a perception problem by pushing Christmas to January. You don't build excitement around a franchise by turning a top 6 pick into 2 picks in the 2nd and 3rd round. You fix a perception problem by being bold. By taking the best player on the board at number 6 and daring the league to respond. By making a statement on draft night instead of playing it safe and hoping nobody notices. And here's what makes this specific draft even more critical. The window at the top of this board may be tighter than people think. The conversation around Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love, Spencer Fano, these names might not all be available at 6. Things shift. Boards move. And if the Browns spend months planning to trade down and then watch their targets get taken, they end up with nothing. No star. No statement. No momentum. Just another draft night where Cleveland fans go to bed wondering what could have been. Let me connect all of this, because there is a bigger picture here that I think people are sleeping on. The Browns right now, in April of 2026, are at an inflection point unlike anything this franchise has seen in a long time. You have Shedeur Sanders at quarterback, a real quarterback, not a bridge guy, not a stopgap, a guy the organization committed to, a guy with the arm, the football IQ, and the competitive DNA to be the face of this franchise for a decade if they build around him correctly. You have Quinshon Judkins healthy and back in the building. One of the most explosive young running backs in the league when healthy, a player who was playing at a Pro Bowl level before his season ended early. You have Carson Swiesinger, who everybody has come around on. You have Mason Graham. You have Harold Landry. You have a rookie class from last year that people are genuinely excited about. The foundation is real. The pieces are there. And now, the Browns are sitting at number 6 in one of the most loaded drafts in recent memory, with the ability to add one more elite piece to a roster that is quietly becoming competitive. This is not a rebuild in the traditional sense anymore. This is a team that took its lumps, made its moves, and is now positioned to make a real run, if they get this draft right. And that's why the pick at 6 matters so much. Not just for 2026, for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Because here is the truth that clip was pointing at. The Browns have spent 25 years drafting for the moment instead of drafting for greatness. Taking the safe pick, taking the need pick, taking the guy who fills a hole instead of the guy who changes the ceiling. Jedrick Wills, fine player, never got better, never became a cornerstone. Greg Newsome, got a little better, never became a true number 1. Martin Emerson, great first 2 years, tailed off. Pick after pick after pick, good enough, but not great. Safe, but not special. The Browns cannot afford another one of those picks at number 6. Not with Shedeur Sanders waiting. Not with Quinshon Judkins back and ready to go. Not with this window starting to open. You have to take the best player available. Full stop. Carnell Tate if he's there. Jeremiah Love if he's there. Whoever that elite talent is at the top of the board when Cleveland is on the clock, you take him. You trust the evaluation. You don't trade down. You don't fill a need with the second best option. You grab the best player in the room, and you let Shedeur Sanders and Quinshon Judkins and this defense figure out the rest. Because this team, this version of the Cleveland Browns, is too close to a real moment to settle for another safe pick. Q is back. Shedeur is locked in. The draft is 10 days away. The Browns have everything they need to make statement on April 23rd and on opening day. But it only works if they trust the process. It only works if they resist the temptation to trade down, play it safe, and push Christmas to January again. So I'll leave you with this, and I mean this question seriously. If the Browns trade down from 6 and pass on the best player available, will you still believe this front office has what it takes to build a winner around Shedeur Sanders? Drop your answer below. I read every comment.